Hi, good day to everyone. It is my privilege to share our project in this forum. My name is Thane Wan from the School of Health Sciences in Ngee Polytechnic, Singapore. Today, I will be presenting our project investigating student access certifications of home-based learning using the Community of Inquiry COI and Digital Literacy Model DLM frameworks. Together with my colleagues, we would like to share our project with you. Ngee Polytechnic is situated in the western part of Singapore and it has a total of 9 schools, including School of Health Sciences. School of Health Sciences have grown compassionate healthcare professionals since 2005. School of Health Sciences have two diploma programs, Diploma in Nursing and Diploma in Optometry. Today, our project will focus on nursing program. In view of the COVID-19 restrictions, Ngee Poly has embarked on the home-based learning journey to ensure uninterrupted learning for our students. The shift to full home-based learning require engine transformations and teachings and learning assessment for both the educator and students. The transformations leverage on the use of technologies to enhance teachings, learnings, and assessments. In addition, home-based learning supports learning beyond the classroom. The home-based learning experience includes adaptability and learning design for online media. The Communities of Inquiry COI framework is used to investigate the nursing students' learning satisfaction through three components: teaching, social, and cognitive processes. The digital literacy model DLM is used to assess technical, cognitive, social, emotional, and learning satisfaction in home-based learning. The cognitive dimension of the digital literacy model is associated with the ability to think critically through the search, evaluates, and create cycle of handling digital information. These two frameworks will inform educators on how their students interact and learn with technology, the effectiveness and student satisfaction of home-based learning. It provides insights on designing home-based learning experiences for the future. The purpose of the study is to determine the relationship between COI and DLM frameworks on the nursing student satisfactions and to understand students' learning needs and make recommendations to improve nursing education for home-based learning. Based on the literature reviews, other cross-sectional study involving nursing students and polytechnic students in Singapore showed that there is a positive relationship between cognitive presence and student learning satisfaction. P-value less than 0.01 and between cognitive presence and online learning presence, p-value less than 0.01. Cross-sectional study involving university students in Australia found a positive correlation between student learning satisfactions and online mode of learning. A study on college study students in the UAE also found that most students were satisfied with the technology used via the video conferencing components of the blended learning. So, we know that there are some correlations between COI, DLM, and student learning satisfactions. Now we want to know if this applies to our nursing students. We want to know how COI and DLM affect the nursing student learning satisfactions. This was a quantitative descriptive cross-sectional study. A total sample of 181 year 1s and 364 year 3 diploma nursing students from Niam Polytechnic were recruited. Online questionnaire with 5-point Likert scale were used. The questionnaire consists of DLN with 70 questions, COI with 33 questions, and other 9 questions focused on learning satisfactions. The NIAN Institutional Review Board's approval was sought for this study. Students were recruited based on voluntary basis and online survey were administered with anonymity. The results were analyzed using SPSS software. The response rate for year 1 student was 31.4%. This was lower than 61.3% from year 3 cohort. The year 1 student may not be familiar with home-based learning as compared to year 3 cohort, who started fully remote learning for a module since their year 1. The reliability of online survey was determined by means of Chromebus Alpha. The assessed variable achieved a score of more than 0.7, indicating high internet consistency, a set for socio-emotional dimension of digital literacy. The validity was determined using explanatory factor analysis. The Kaiser-Meyer-Orkin measure of sampling adequacy and Bartlett tests were performed. All survey questions achieved value of greater than 0.5, which was acceptable. Next, I will be sharing the finding with you. Based on the survey participants, the majority were female below 21 years old. Based on survey participants, majority were GCEO level graduates, followed by ASEAN Nursing Scholar and Institute of the Technical Education certifications. The Asian nursing scholar come from various countries to Singapore to pursue a nursing diploma. This table shows overall mean score of DLM, COI, and student satisfactions. For DLM, the mean score was 58.08 out of the total of 85 with a standard deviation of 12.118. For COI, the mean score was 107 out of the total of 165 with a standard deviation of 21.156. For student satisfactions, the mean score was 29.83 out of the total of 45 with a standard deviation of 5.470. The score between male and female students using independent t-test was performed. It was found that male students have a significantly higher DLM score as compared to the female students at the 95% confidence level with a p-value of 0.002. The mean DLM score for the male student was 61.71, which was higher than 57.40 in the female students. However, the results were not significant for COI and student satisfactions. The total score between year 1 and year 3 students using independent t-test was performed. We found that the year 1 student had a significantly higher COI score compared to the year 3 students at the 95% confidence level with a p-value of 0.037. The mean COI score for year 1 student was 119.67, which was higher than the year 3 students who score 115.66. Next, we also look at the relationship between overall COI and student satisfactions. There is a positive linear relationship of moderate strengths between the COI and perceived student satisfactions, with a Pearson correlation coefficient of 0.652. We break down the COI into three dimensions and performs a correlation test with student satisfactions. The three dimensions of COI are cognitive, social, and teaching presences. Individually, each of the dimensions of COI had a significant positive correlation with students' satisfactions with p-value of less than 0.05. The relationship between overall DLM and student satisfactions. Similar to the COI, there is a moderate positive linear relationship between the DLM and perceived student satisfactions, with a Pearson correlation coefficient of 0.585. The DLM can also be broken down into its individual dimensions. They include the technical, cognitive, socio-emotional dimensions and attitudes toward informations and communication technology for learning. A similar observations from COI was found as all the individual dimension has significant positive correlation with student satisfactions with p-value of less than 0.05. To summarize, we learned that there is a significant positive correlation between the COI, DLM, and students' learning satisfaction with p-value less than 0.001. When each of the dimensions of COI and DLM were tested for correlation with student satisfactions, they were also found to have significant correlations, p-value less than 0.05. Comparison between the male and female students showed that male has significantly higher DLM score, p-value 0.002. Comparisons between the year 1 and year 3 students showed that year 1 student has significantly higher COI score, p-value 0.037. How can this study help the hacker educators? We hope that these findings will share insights to educators to enhance students' satisfaction for the future home-based learning module. The positive correlation between COI and DLM and student learning satisfaction showed that there could be benefits for blended learning approach, infusion face-to-face teachings in classroom, and online learning activity. Online activity could supplement their learning by allowing remote access to learning materials and encourage self-directed learning. For example, students have flexible access to the recorded lecture slides. The student could revisit the recording anytime to do self-revision lecture contents. Online tutorials facilitate more efficient discussion as students were able to reply via different modes such as live or chat. Home-based learning using digital platform is certainly advantageous for students who are proficient in digital literacy. However, there are benefits of face-to-face teaching which cannot be achieved with online learning alone. In recorded lectures, students are unable to ask lecturer questions immediately. Some students require the presence of a teacher in class to motivate and support their learning. The physical classroom provides a learning space for the peer to establish the supported learning relationship with their peer, which can be lacking using online mode. Recommendations for future work includes having more qualitative data to gather students' feedback, identifying gaps in learning. This study can also be conducted in other courses in Niam Polytechnic or other polytechnics in Singapore. It would also be good to study the effectiveness of certain aspects of home-based learning using longitudinal or randomized experimental studies. We could study the effectiveness of using virtual laboratory on students' learning outcomes using students' academic results. Given the current COVID situations, home-based learning might continue to be a part of the student learning in many parts of the world. As an educator, it is exciting field to research on as it is constantly evolving as people adapt to the online mode of learning. These are references for our research projects. Thank you for your attention and please feel free to contact me via email.
Thank you for your presentation. It is time for question and answer session. We still have 4 minutes. Is there any questions that you want to ask from the floor? If not, then may I ask the questions? I found that you have focused it on recruiting participants from year one and year three. Why you intend to collect the samples from these 2 years? Is there an underlying reason for you to collect the sample for these 2 years?
Yes, so thank you for asking the question. So there are two PI doing this research. So I'm taking care for year three, and then my friends, my colleagues, weekend, she is doing the year one. So that's why two PIs can be easily managed for year one cohort and year three cohort. So she is so managing for year ones. I'm taking care for year three. So maybe if we include year two, so we are thinking so how to analyze so our student, how to split. That's why this time we can only do for year one and year three. Another reason is that if year ones they started joining to in the NEANS and year three had the some experience before. So we want to see what is the difference also. In the future, I think we should include year two also. That is a very good question. Yes.
Oh, so you are based on a convenient sampling to recruit the participant from these 2 years. And
Yes.
so the generalizability of the findings of different year will be tested in the future. Is this mean?
So in the future, we should be three cohort, year one, year two, and year three. We are trying to manage in the future. Yes.
Oh, I see, I see. I found that you have suggested to use interview to collect further evidence. May I ask how can you incorporate interview to advise your findings?
Yes, yes, that should be in the future. So that should could be the both qualitative and the qualitative survey. So because quantitative survey that could be some the we cannot say we are very limited with our questionnaire. So qualitative can be we can hear from the student feedbacks beyond our students the student idea they can share also. So now I think quantitative we are very limited to our questionnaire. So qualitative maybe the small group discussions or interview how they feel, what is their feedback on the home-based learning, what do you mean about your satisfaction level. So we can interview more in depth and then we can
analyze from both quantitative and qualitative in the future.
Oh, I see. So, will you also try to recruit teachers to understand something from the teacher's perspective, or only student?
Yes, so right now, as we are doing for the students in the future, also we might do the student perspective. For maybe, yes, your question is very good. There might be the confounding factor can be the teacher's experience on the web-based teachings on the or subjective teaching before. That may be one of the factor for student satisfaction. Maybe some lecturer they may have the uh, work-based experience before, or maybe they are teaching the school for many years. They are expert in the subject teaching matter also. Maybe we should do that interview for the lecturer part also. Yes.
Oh, okay. Is
Okay.
there
Okay.
any other questions from the floor that would like to ask?
Yes, Annie. Yes, Annie here. I'm so sorry. Yes, something wrong with my camera. I would like to ask for the O level, or I'm Annie from Nanyang Polytechnic. Sorry. For GCE, I see that the frequency of GCE O level is 289, and also ASEAN Nursing Scholarship is actually 157. I'm thinking actually, is it possible for you to compare the COI and also the DLM between these two group of students, and see whether is there a different intake may actually contribute in different COI. I think it will be a very interesting study also. That's just some of the comment that I mean, anyway, the frequency is quite high also.
Yes. Thank you for asking this question. So yes, so GCEO level is the almost double compared to ASEAN Nursing Scholar. So to analyze the confounding between these two groups, some we are not linking with the, for example, student number one from the O level answer this question. We are not linking because of the our PDP issue. We cannot analyze. So sometimes, so if we are linked with the answers in the students, so we can analyze more clearer for that one. Yes,
Okay, I understand already. So sorry about it. Thank you.
yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for the questions from the floor.